League play is here in Conference USA EA Diddle Arena at Western Kentucky University. The Hilltoppers are hosting the University of North Texas. Hello everyone, I'm Pat O'Keefe. Great to be joined by the former Baylor standout King McClure. Happy New Year to everyone here at Western Kentucky. Sky-high expectations this season. They were the preseason favorites, and that took a big hit December 7th. Charles Bassey, last year's Freshman of the Year, last year's Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, went down with a season-ending leg injury, King. So you know, guys got to band together. Guys got to step up. One of those guys stepping up is Carson Williams.
Carson Williams has definitely stepped up with Bassey's injury. Last 2 games, averaging 19 points and 10 rebounds per game. A little undersized, but he's tough as nails, and they'll definitely need his toughness tonight.
On the North Texas side, a 6-7 record. They're probably better than their record indicates. They played a very tough schedule. One of the biggest reasons for their success, the big step from year 1 to year 2 of this guy, Umoja Gibson.
Umoja Gibson, confident kid with a quick trigger and deep range from 3. Averaging 14 points per game and shooting at a 43% clip from 3. They'll definitely need his shooting tonight.
We are ready to go here at Bowling Green, Kentucky. Western Kentucky and North Texas as we get things started in the conference portion of the schedule in Conference USA. It'll be Dengu, a grad transfer, jumping it up against the aforementioned Carson Williams, as North Texas coming out in their road black uniforms for the conference opener. A top 40 schedule these Mean Green have faced this season.
Yeah, that schedule's been not easy by any means. You know, I feel like you said earlier, they're definitely a lot better than that record indicates.
Preparing them for the rigors of conference play. So the Mean Green control the tap. Here is Gibson. And the starting 5, Reese and Gibson, Hamlet, Gu, and Zachary Simmons, their interior presence. They start 3 transfers who weren't part of the program last season, but cough it up on their first possession. Good look inside as they find Williams inside, and Williams one of the starting 5. Josh Anderson has moved into the starting 5 after Bassey's injury. Cameron Justice, Tavion Hollingsworth, one of their all-time leading scorers. Gibson, nice feed off for Gu inside in the first 2 of the game.
You know, Gibson's normally a 3-point shooter, but he gets to the rack and is able to make a great dish. You know, Coach Mack said that's the next step for his game is being a playmaker. So we'll see how his playmaking is tonight.
He's a natural scorer. He's a born shooter. Anderson firing away from the wing, and it's out of bounds on top of the backboard.
They don't even guard Anderson out there because right now Anderson's only shooting 36 from 3, which is not bad, but he hasn't taken many. And you know, when you don't take a lot of shots, your percentage tend to increase. But they don't think of him as a threat, a 3-point threat, so they don't even guard him right now.
Saw Grant McCaslin a moment ago, the 3rd season head coach at the University of North Texas. Gibson maybe got away with a travel, picked off by Williams. Out ahead to Cameron Justice, right to the basket, and one more coming.
Justice at the South Central Bank 9.
So Cameron Justice will try to finish off the 3-point play. His head coach, Rick Stansberry, his 4th season here in Bowling Green, a record of 69-47, a long, successful run at Mississippi State prior to coming here. Also an assistant in the SEC at Texas A&M. So a friendly roll for Justice. And a little pressure here shown by the Hilltoppers.
It's a good sign for Hilltopper fans that Cam Justice gets an early bucket. Only 4 for 14 in his last game and 1 for 7 from the 3. So be interesting to see how he bounces back from that.
In our pregame conversation with Rick Stansberry, he's one of the guys that he highlighted on his team that has to step up. He goes, we need Cam Justice to start hitting some shots.
Yeah, they have to. They don't have too many outside shooters. Carson Williams can shoot the 3, and Cam Justice can shoot the 3. Anderson and Hollingsworth really not 3-point shooters. Don't take many and really don't even get guarded by teams. So he has to step up and knock down shots.
And that foul was against Carson Williams, probably the one guy who can't afford to get into foul trouble on this Western Kentucky team. And a nice move inside by Dengu. Just underway here, conference opener for both of these teams. Western Kentucky finished second last season with an 11-7 mark in Conference USA. And there's your point, King. They're leaving Anderson wide open from downtown. He passed on the open look that time. Shot clock at 1. Anderson has to fire that one, and it's well off the mark.
And honestly, when you're left that open as a basketball player, that really messes with your head.
Catch and shoot for Reese.
Because you don't know if you should take the shot. You're so wide open that you think you should shoot it, but sometimes there's a reason why they're leaving you open.
If you're open all the time, there's a reason for it, right? And here he is again, wide open again, so he puts it on the floor. Now Williams can knock it down and does.
That's somebody you can't leave open right there. Shooting at a 50% three-point clip, you cannot leave him open.
8 for 16 from downtown coming into this one. An early 2-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Good crowd in here tonight. It's a great basketball atmosphere here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, despite the students being away from campus because of the vacation. And Gu quiets them a little with that one.
One thing Gu is doing a good job, but when his guards are driving, he's getting flat, which creates space to make it harder for the defender to choose either, do I take the guy going to the rim or do I take the dump-off pass?
Hollingsworth draws 2 defenders and misfires. And the Mean Green looking to push here. Gibson slows it up, guarded by Jared Savage, local kid. And Simmons, one of the best post players in the conference, easily done there.
Western Kentucky is going to have to double Simmons every time he touches it on that block. As much as I love Carson Williams, he's 6'5", undersized. He has no chance to guard Zachary Simmons. So they must double, get the ball out of his hand every time he touches it.
And that's probably where you see the absence of Charles Bassey more than anything.
He's definitely missed, especially in the interior defense.
Shot clock winding, down to 5 now. So Justice has to fire away. And a good sign for Cameron Justice with a couple of early buckets, including one from downtown.
That's a great sign. Talked to Rick Stansbury earlier. He said he's shooting 1 for 12 in the last 2 games. So for him to see one goes in, that definitely boosts his confidence.
Knocked out of bounds by Williams. And a good start for Western Kentucky, a 1-point lead, 4.5 minutes in. The conference opener for North Texas and the Hilltoppers. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Western Kentucky a 9-8 lead over North Texas. Out of the first timeout. Now one guy on the Mean Green probably not upset to not see Charles Bassey inside Deng Gu, what he's doing early on.
He's keeping it simple. He's letting his guards make plays for him, finishing quick, taking 1 or 2 bounces, finishing over his defender. He's just keeping the game really simple, and that's all you can ask for with a player like him.
They got a grad transfer. Played in the NCAA tournament last season for North Dakota State. Interesting story, Deng Gu. He became a U.S. citizen in 2017. He came over to the United States from Uganda when he was 6 years old to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and has been here ever since, again becoming a citizen just a couple of years ago. Shot clock down to 5, so Gibson has to fire away from deep. Simmons battling for the offensive rebound, but we're going the other way. And it's going to be again Zachary Simmons. Just a second team foul on North Texas. Justice. That one can't go. And here's one of those transfers. Javion Hamlet right to the basket. But they're going to wave it off. It's a clear out. Hamlet turning on the Jets here.
The off arm on the extension. Because he extended the off arm in the layup, they called it an offensive foul. I do that a lot when I'm playing, so I don't think it's an offensive foul, but the referee disagrees, saw something different.
Yeah, one of those plays where you think you're going to the line for a three-point play, and instead you're going the other way. Tavion Hollingsworth, 1,000-point scorer, got his 1,000th point in the first game this season. And that was pretty significant. We'll tell you why in a moment.
He actually scored 500 of those 1,000 in his freshman year. That's crazy. That's unheard of.
There's a foul on the perimeter against Anderson. When Hollingsworth scored his 1,000th point, his first game of his junior season, he became just the third player in program history to do that. Courtney Lee, Bobby Rasco, the only other two Hilltoppers to reach 1,000 in their first game of their junior year. Of course, Courtney Lee, longtime NBA veteran, probably the best player in program history here at Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
DJ Draper in for the first time. He's really given them a lift and gives a nice entry pass there to Simmons.
That was a good seal by the big fella. Knows he had the size advantage, but still was able to seal him off and get it easy, too.
10 points for North Texas. It's all come inside. Not surprising as Reese steps into one and Gibson out in front. That was their first transition bucket, but without Bassie, North Texas is pounding it inside on the offensive end. Step back is good for the freshman, Jordan Rawls.
Jordan Rawls is a very confident kid. Got Conference USA Freshman of the Week. The coach is really high on him because of his ability to make plays for others and get other people better as a freshman.
And Jordan Rawls is an important player on this team as Gibson heads back down court, especially in the absence of Bassie, because everybody's got to move up a spot in that rotation. They were really kind of thin anyway.
Yeah.
They really only went 7 or 8 deep. Now they go 6 or 7 deep, and Rawls is that spark for Western Kentucky off the bench.
Yeah, and also he allows Hollingsworth, because Hollingsworth is such a good scorer. He's really more of a two guard who's having to play the one because their transfer had to sit out this year. But with Rawls on the court, Hollingsworth is able to move to the 2, and Rawls is able to take the initiative when it comes to playmaking because Hollingsworth is more of a scorer than a facilitator.
There's an issue with the clock here at Diddle Arena, so that's what the officials are looking at right now. Try to sort that out. Good pace to start this game. North Texas a 1-point lead. As we continue to wait for the clock, and Saturday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app, we'll have the first ACC matchup of 2020. Number 2 Duke and Miami. The Blue Devils are 20-7 all-time against the Hurricanes, but the Canes have given them a hard time the last 8 years. Since 2012, Miami has won 5 of 10 against the Blue Devils. Not a lot of programs can boast that, I bet.
Not many at all.
So good matchup there. Conference play up and running really across the country this week. It's a fun time of year.
It's a very fun time. Just me being a basketball player, this time to look forward to because it's conference time, but it's also closer to March. One step closer. My coach always used to divide into 3 seasons. There you have the non-conference, conference, then postseason. So this gets you one step closer to the moment you dream of, March Madness.
When you were playing at Baylor, how much did the juices get flowing more for you when conference season arrived?
Well, it definitely turned up a little bit. Definitely.
Clock's up 7 seconds. Took it off. We're good.
Definitely was able to turn it up another notch because now it's when it really matters. I mean, non-conference matters, but conference is really when you want to be able to hang banners and you start being able to boast about hanging banners.
All right, so we're back to action. It took 6 seconds off the clock as we resume play here. Back and forth so far. The Mean Green, a 1-point lead. Hollingsworth had Horton open for a moment, couldn't find him. Once again, shot clock winding way down for the Hilltoppers. It's down to 4, so Hollingsworth has to create against Gu and draws a foul with 1 second on the shot clock.
Able to get to the spot. Got him on the wrist a little bit. Didn't allow him to follow through. Get called by the referee.
First foul against Dang Gu. Not really a classic rim protector. Interestingly, as their big man, he leads the team in drawing charges, which they absolutely love about him in his first season in this program.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing as a guard to know. Am I going to try to avoid a charge when I go to the rim, or am I going to have to finish over length? And when you've been able to keep the guards guessing, I feel like that makes it so much harder for a guard to know what to do and make decisions. It's harder for us to make decisions as guards because you don't know what the big is going to do.
Hollingsworth makes him pay at the line. There's not a lot of big men who really commit to taking the charge time after time. So usually as a guard, you probably know what you're going to get.
Yeah. I know one person that comes to mind is Chase Jeter from Arizona. Last year we played him, it was definitely a lot of that. We were guessing. We didn't know if he was going to take a charge or try to block our shot.
And if you're thinking, that's not a good thing if you're in transition, right?
Not at all.
So Gibson goes to the bench. DJ Draper on the court. So is Thomas Bell, who's given North Texas a lift off the bench this season as they set up in their defense. Justice can't shoot from the top. He's got the green light tonight clearly.
Yeah, he's letting it fly. He saw the first one go in. He's definitely a confidence kid. Sees one goes in, he might be in for a long night.
You know, Rick Stansbury's already gone pretty deep into his rotation. Matt Horton is on the floor. Jeremiah Gambrell is on the floor as well for Western Kentucky. These aren't guys who play every game, and a nice move inside for Dangu against Horton. He picks up his first foul.
I think Matt Horton is a kid who definitely needs to step up. Right here, this is where they miss Bassie. He's able to get into his body and draw the foul. Matt Horton is a kid that needs to step up and use some of his length because they're not tall. The second tallest guy on their team right now is 6'5", 6'6". They're really undersized, so he definitely needs to step up. This is his moment. With Bassie being out, he has to be that guy, be that interior defender for this team.
Well, they really have no choice. Carson Williams plays 31 minutes a game. He can't play 40 minutes a game. After him, it's Horton up front.
Yeah.
And it's kicked out of bounds. And a turnover. Goo on the baseline, and he's having fun out there.
That's a great move. Felt the contact on his back and spinned off immediately into an easy dunk.
It's a coming out party tonight for Dangu. He's already got 10 points. He averages less than 8 a game on the season. Justice tried to feed the big man inside. Good hands by Draper. Hamlet to Goo up top. And timeout Hilltoppers. Rick Stansbury needs to talk things over because they cannot contain Dangu right now on the court. When we come back, the streak continues for the Hilltoppers. We'll tell you about it. They trail by 5. Well, Western Kentucky has extended this streak tonight. Cameron Justice hit a 3 earlier. It's the 1,023rd consecutive game that they have hit a three-pointer, and currently that ties them for the 4th longest active streak. It is a streak that began March 15th, 1987 in the second-round NCAA tournament game against Syracuse. Here's maybe the most significant three-pointer during that streak. First round of the 2008 NCAA tournament. 12th-seeded Western Kentucky went to overtime against 5th-seeded Drake as Ty Rogers knocked down that 26-footer in what has become one of the most iconic shots in NCAA tournament history. That year, the Hilltoppers would go on to advance to the Sweet 16 after defeating San Diego in the second round. Rogers' shot, meanwhile, won the ESPY Award that season for best finish.
When you think about it, you really can't see a basketball game without making a three. So you think of the streak, you never really think about that. But you know, nowadays, the way basketball is being played, you feel like there's a three in every game. So
I agree. I defy you to find the last team that will win the entire game without making a three.
Yeah.
Because you know everybody's taking them right now.
Yeah,
so that has to be a really off night. So a good possession for the Hilltoppers out of the timeout to trim this lead back to 3. Dangu has been the story so far. already his 7th game this season, scoring in double figures. Nice look from the wing, and Thomas Bell knocks it down.
Javion Hamlet has improved so much in his decision making. He's able to really pick apart the defense now and talk to Coach Mack a little bit, and he credits that to he simplified the game for Javion. He said at first he was playing like a robot, trying to do what Coach Mack asked, but now he's able to just play free, and he's allowing his scoring, being aggressively offensive, to open up things for others and make plays for everybody else.
Tough shot for Rawls, who shoots a team-high 41% from downtown this season. Hamlet, good decision that time, as he kept it himself. Eight-point lead for North Texas. Midway through the first half, largest lead of the game for the Mean Green. And North Texas very active defensively on this possession. Once again, the shot clock at 10. As Zachary Simmons checks back in, giving Dangu a rest.
I think they need to get Justice a shot right now. They need to run a baseline out of bounds play and try to get him an open shot right now because he's feeling it.
He's got 6 points, 6 of their 15. Gibson nearly picked off the inbounds pass, but he was out of bounds. Right in front of Rick Stansberry. It's been a long time since North Texas has won a game here. And a lot of talk this week about the beginning of a new decade. It's been a decade since they won here. They've lost 10 straight here at Diddle.
Oh, wow.
Around the University of North Texas, they call it the Riddle of Diddle. Hamlet on the run with the left hand, and one more to come.
This is what Coach Mack talked about. Him being able to be more aggressive offensively, able to take the bump and still finish. The more aggressive he is offensively, looking to score, opens up his passing ability, which is why he was able to completely flip around. His assist-to-turnover ratio was terrible the first 6 games. The last 7 games, almost 3-to-1 assist-turnover ratio. And it's because of his offense looking to score at all times.
And to your point, he had a negative assist-to-turnover ratio his first 6 games, and that has completely flipped.
And you can never be successful with a point guard with a negative assist-turnover ratio.
Meanwhile, they've opened up an 11-point lead here in the first half. Williams tries to go to work. Nothing easy coming offensively for Western Kentucky. Williams loses his feet, and a foul is called as he went down.
When we talked to Rick Stansberry earlier, one thing he really mentioned was they're trying to find themselves. Without Bassey, it's hard for them because right now they're relying on Carson Williams to make plays on the perimeter. And he's not that. He's a pop and shoot, but he's a low post guy. And right now they're trying to find themselves, find who they are, find the people who can score for them with Bassey being out.
Well, you know this as a guard, too. How much easier does it make for the perimeter players when you have an interior presence like Bassey that the defense has to focus on?
It makes it so much easier because then you can play inside out. You can feed the ball to Bassey, and a lot of people aren't going to guard Bassey one-on-one. So because they're going to double him, it allows you to be able to kick out and catch wide-open shots. And then once you see 1 or 2 go in, you get in the rhythm.
Jalen Jackson, a seldom-used guard, is on the floor for North Texas as they turn it over. And that's the man they're missing, Charles Bassey. Their 3rd game since he has gone down. They haven't won since he went down either. They actually won the game that he got injured against Arkansas.
Yeah.
They won that game in overtime, probably their biggest win of the season, but since then 0-2. And you see Bassey sitting behind the bench at the top of your screen. Had surgery on December 10th in Houston. It was a tibial plateau fracture in his left leg was his injury.
That's a tough call. I disagree with the call because he didn't go down right away. It took him a second to really go down. He hesitated at first, didn't know if he wanted to go down or if he wanted to man up and chest up. But then he finally went down. I disagree with that call. It's a bad call.
Goes as an offensive foul against Cameron Justice, who's picking up his defensive pressure on this trip down the court. Hamlet draws the double team, little floater, and Hamlet has such a nice touch around the rim.
Yeah. And his ability to take his time and slow down the game in order to make the right decision has really improved based off what Coach Mack said.
Drought continues here for Western Kentucky. Big bucket inside, and they needed that one from Tavion Hollingsworth.
They definitely need his scoring in order to get back in this game.
So one free throw coming for Tavion Hollingsworth as he tries to chip away North Texas. Looking good. An 11-point lead as they get started in the Conference USA season. Tip off your weekend and the new year with our star-studded NBA doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN and the ESPN app. Joel Embiid and the 76ers take on James Harden, Russell Westbrook and the Rockets at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then LeBron, Anthony Davis and the Lakers host AD's former team, the Pelicans, at Staples Center. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. 11-point lead for North Texas. Javion Hamlet, their point guard, really giving them a spark.
Javion Hamlet, I think the thing that I'm most impressed with is his pace of play. As a guard, being able to control your pace is everything. And in this game, you see it. He's able to make the right decision time after time, finish at the rim. But the thing is, he's playing at his own pace, not being sped up by the defensive Hollingsworth. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it.
He's got 7 points. He's hit 3 out of his 4 shots, and when he's not scoring, he's setting other guys up. Also has 3 assists here in the first half. Really
turning into the point guard that Coach Mack recruited him to be.
Hollingsworth finishes the three-point play out of the timeout. North Texas had its largest lead of the game a moment ago at 13 points. Right now it's 10. A little three-quarter court pressure by the Hilltoppers. Gibson thought about firing away from deep. Up top for Deng instead.
He's just keeping the game simple. Their guards are making the right play, getting to the rim and either finishing or dropping off to the big. That's how you keep the game simple, and that's why they're able to have that 12-point lead right now.
That play has been there since the beginning of this game for the Mean Green. Savage with a hand in his face. Tough shot from the wing for 3.
They need that. They definitely need somebody on this Hilltopper team to step up and take this game over offensively.
Savage can shoot it. He's 36% from downtown. A couple of good possessions offensively in a row for Western Kentucky. Now they look to get a stop. TJ Draper back on the floor. That was deflected. In the neighborhood of Charles Bassey behind the Western Kentucky bench. Keep that leg elevated, big fella.
So they say rice, rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
And unfortunately, in his case, surgery from some of the best doctors in the country is what he needed. Doctors who performed Bassey's surgery also performed the same surgery on J.J. Watt in 2017 when he suffered a similar injury. The team doctors for the Houston Rockets and the Houston Texans. Little step back 3, well off the mark, and Justice clears the board. Hollingsworth shrugs off the defender, can't get the roll. Williams working the offensive glass and got goo in the air. And that's his second.
Although Carson Williams is undersized, I love how hard he rebounds the ball. Look at him fight for position. He's not supposed to get that rebound, but he gets it. Able to go right back up, pump fake. He's not a really above the rim guy, but still gets the job done because he's so tough. And I admire his toughness.
78% free throw shooter on the season. Jemiah Simmons comes back in, and Thomas Bell. Reese to the bench, and Dangu with those 2 personal fouls. He sits down. Western Kentucky, the preseason favorites in Conference USA. In the preseason poll, North Texas was picked to finish 7th. They might be a lot better than people think. Gibson, though, coughs it up. Numbers for the Hilltoppers. Up top, Savage. And a savage dunk there for the Hilltoppers.
Uh-oh.
They're back within 6. We'll be right back to a fired-up Diddle Arena. Slow start for Western Kentucky, but they're back to within 6. King Nothing gets the home crowd fired up, then a dunk in transition.
Yeah, these are the plays you need. Good pass by Hollingsworth. Lob it up to an athletic Savage. These are the plays you need to get back in this game and flip the momentum.
They trailed by 13 points just a couple of minutes ago. Now they're back to within 6, showing some more pressure. Dangu, who's been the offensive star for North Texas, remains on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Hamlet's been the other offensive star. Tough shot there. Jemiah Simmons' putback can't go. Third opportunity, no. It's taken away by Hollingsworth and knocked out of bounds right in front of our scorer's table. Hollingsworth took a spill, so they'll attend to the wet spot on the floor as Gu checks back in with those 2 personal fouls. He's got to be careful.
He has to be careful. He cannot pick up his third right now. And you know, it shows he's an older guy, and it shows how much Coach Mack trusts him to put him back in the game with 2 fouls because of his experience and his age.
Williams just bullying him, knowing he has those 2 fouls. And this one's going to go against Carson Williams on the offensive rebound attempt. Well, Williams was seeing red there when he saw Dangu with those 2 personal fouls. He went right at him. Couldn't draw the foul, though, and couldn't finish.
I like the strategy. Go at the player that you know has 2 fouls in foul trouble.
Draper is going to free himself up for an open look. Anderson skies for the rebound, and he's fouled by Bell.
I think the zone will get them back in the game. I think they definitely need to continue to play this 2-3 zone in order to shrink the court. But not just do that. They definitely need to, as you look at the foul right here, but they definitely need to be able to condense the court and take away driving lanes, because right now they're getting to the paint way too easily. So I think this zone is a smart move by Stansbury.
It's definitely had an impact here. Anderson misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Hamlet splits a couple defenders. It's been a quiet first half for Umoja Gibson, who we spoke about at the top of the broadcast. Bell from the corner, open, and hits. And Bell has a couple of 3-pointers off the bench. Anderson using that athleticism, going right at Dangu. And he lets him have it.
That kid is really athletic. I think he had three top 10 dunks last year in sports in the top 10.
His first 2 seasons here, 5 appearances at least, 5 known appearances on SportsCenter's top 10 plays.
Yeah, you have to be athletic to get on there.
You sure do, time after time. And speaking of athleticism, Gu is just having a time inside.
He's just doing what the defense gives him, giving them what the defense allows him to do.
He's got 16 points. He hasn't missed. He's 7 for 7 from the field.
He's keeping the game simple and scoring off the drop-off.
Backdoor for Portland. And it's been a series of lobs and dunks on both ends in this first half.
Yeah, that was a great read. Seeing that the tag man was late, Justice was able to lob it up to the big fella.
Draper, catch, shoot for 3. Back to a 10-point lead. Savage trying to answer.
Not a big fan of that shot at all. Too quick in the shot clock. Ooh.
Dangu is feeling it tonight. Hasn't missed. 16 points, leading North Texas to a 10-point lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by USAA, proud supporter of the military community. What you're made of, we're made for. And Burger King, the 5 for $4 meal is here, only at Burger King. Ten-point lead for North Texas, and Dangu is having himself a night, and he was one of the keys coming in for his coach.
Yeah, Coach Mack definitely said that he needed Dangu to be more aggressive offensively, but when he mentioned that, he was talking about him shooting the 3 so he could space the floor out. But with Bassie being out, Dangu is able to use his 6'8" length, use his presence down low, and be able to get stuff around the rim, get easy tools, easy finishes.
And it's been easy for him tonight.
Yeah, his guards have definitely done a great job of making plays for him and making the game easy to where all he has to do is go up and score.
Now that said, this game was teetering on getting a little out of control for Western Kentucky a few minutes ago. They've been able to stabilize it, now trailing by 10. Jordan Rawls back on the floor with Hollingsworth in the backcourt. Rawls along the baseline, floats it up there, and Bell grabs the rebound. Gibson off the dribble. Quiet first half for him. Deep 3 for Savage on the other end.
Savage is not shy by any means necessary.
He's pretty good from downtown this season, 36%.
But you know, I like it though, because they need that. They need somebody to be able to take big shots and hit big shots.
Here's Savage again, right down Broadway. And we're going the other way. And this time it was Jemiah Simmons stepping up to take the charge.
Jemiah Simmons beating him to the spot outside the restricted area, was stable, took the charge. Great call by referee.
Well, we got another bowl game for you Friday afternoon on ESPN and the ESPN app. Dual threat QB Nathan Rourke leads Ohio against Jay Novell's Nevada Wolfpack in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on the blue turf of Albertson Stadium, the home of Boise State. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN. A tie-up on the baseline. Rawls was there, as was Bell. And it's the second foul against the freshman Rawls. 8th team foul against the Hilltoppers, so both teams, as you see in the bonus, for the remainder of the half. Final 90 seconds in what has been an impressive first half for North Texas.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to, I think, more, not even offensively, but more so defensively. I feel like they made the Hilltoppers be able to be stagnant on the offensive end, because sometimes it's like the Hilltoppers just don't know what to do. You know, you're leaving guys like Josh Anderson open, and you're able to collapse the paint and help off of him. So there's 2 guys at all times, which clogs up the driving lanes for Hollingsworth. And then they're doing a great job of, you know, after Cam Justice got hot, they did a great job of shutting them down, keeping them quiet. So credit to North Texas defense right now.
Justice had 5 very early points. He's sitting on 6 right now. This is the Western Kentucky team that scores 79 points a game, and they're sitting on 28 with a little over a minute to go in the first half.
North Texas defense is definitely good.
First foul on DJ Draper. So Anderson goes back to the line. He missed the front end of a 1-and-1 a moment ago. 78% from the foul line this season. Umoja Gibson replacing Draper for the final minute and change. Anderson starting his 3rd straight game. Came off the bench until the Bassey injury. Goes 2 for 2 from the line.
Yeah, they definitely need him to step up. He has to be one of those guys, as we mentioned earlier, that has to step up because they need an interior presence. And even though he's not the biggest guy, he can still give them a boost or help them out a lot in that area.
He certainly adds a high degree of athleticism to what they do. It drives right at the basket. He's had a big first half. 9 points now for Javion Hamlet. Lead is back to 12. That's a block inside against Jemiah Simmons.
It was a good block. Yeah, it was a block. Right now, you see Cam Justice's eyes was looking to the corner. He wanted Hollingsworth to slide to the corner so he could hit the drift pass, but he never got there. So he kind of got stuck, got bailed out, but turned out in his favor.
Second foul on Jemiah. He took a charge earlier. Tried to take another one there.
That's something Coach Mack loves out of Jemiah Simmons and Dane Gu. They take charges all the time. Like we talked about earlier, when you have bigs that can either block shots and take charges, it makes it so much harder for the opposing guards.
And you hate that as a guard, right? Because at least if it's a traditional big man and he's going to try and block your shot, at least you know what you're going up against, right?
Yeah, I hate it personally, and I know a lot of guards. I know I'm not the only guard that feels that way, so.
Justice misses both free throws. Just a 69% foul shooter this season, uncharacteristic for him. Very little going right in this first half for Western Kentucky.
One thing about this Hilltopper team, though, is they're experienced. The majority of them are upperclassmen, juniors, and seniors, except Ross. So this game is far from over, and I know in the second half they'll definitely fight back.
Hamlet one-on-one with Rawls, finds the cutting belt. Nice catch inside. It's deflected out of bounds with 1 second to shoot. So we'll see what Grant McCaslin calls on this. Inbounds play, 4.9 on the clock.
With 1 second, it's either a quick catch and shoot or a tip in.
Hamlet, the point guard, throwing it in. He's got to get it in. He's got to get it in. He doesn't get it in.
They did a great job with guarding that out of bounds play. They knew that they wanted to get the ball to Umoja Gibson or a tip in, and they took both of those options away. They took away the three-point option, and they took away the easy tip in at the rim.
Probably not the worst 5-second call in the world either, since it was going to be a high degree of difficulty anyway.
Yeah, definitely not the worst.
So we'll see if the Hilltoppers can do anything in 5 seconds. Hollingsworth trying to go the length of the court, and he's fouled with 0.3 of a second to go. Very physical between Tavion Hollingsworth and the freshman Jalen Jackson.
See, right now, that's a freshman mistake. Freshmen have to learn 0.3 seconds left on the clock. If he scores the bucket, you're still up by 10 going into the half. It's not the end of the world. You can't let them get to the free throw line, potentially make 2 free throws, and give them momentum going into the second half. It's a freshman mistake.
So Hollingsworth looking to take advantage of that freshman mistake and get the deficit to 10 by halftime. (42-32). First 20 minutes of the conference season in the books. Dane Gu doing his part, 16 points. Hasn't missed from the field, hasn't missed from the free throw line. 10-point lead for North Texas. And we'll join the studio when we come back. 42-32, North Texas on top. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL. And we are ready for the start of the second half from Western Kentucky University. A quick start here for North Texas. They shot very well in the first half, led by as many as 13 points. A 10-point lead right now. Big reason why, King, at 61% you see at the top of your screen.
Yeah, you can't beat anybody if you allow them to shoot 61% from the field. They definitely have to lower that, but rebounds also sticks out too. They're almost double on the rebounding. They definitely have to gang rebound because they're not as big. So they have to all have a collaborative effort and go in there and rebound all at once.
We already spoke about the points in the paint advantage, 26-10 for North Texas. A big reason for that, of course, the absence of the man we just showed you on our screen, Charles Bassey, missing his third game after fracturing his fibula. And he is out for the remainder of the season. And there's a good start. Bassey will like that one. In fact, right before the second half began, Bassey had some words on the court with his teammate Carson Williams. Maybe he told him, hey, take the ball to the basket, kid.
That's very impressive. Being able to take the big man one-on-one and finish through the contact, keep your eyes up on the layup. It's a great play by Carson Williams.
Bassey looking on. With Bassey out, Williams is the interior presence on this Western Kentucky team, but can't finish the three-point play.
Seems like they missed a lot of free throws tonight. Oh.
9 for 14 from the line. Little collision at midcourt, and Hollingsworth is slow to get up. Play continues. Hollingsworth is on the logo at midcourt, still on his back, and seems to be in a bit of pain as his teammates attend to him. The crowd here inside Diddle Arena not happy at all, as they were looking for a foul call on the collision, but play was allowed to continue.
It was clearly a foul. Clearly a foul. The ball gets tipped. Hollingsworth go get this ball. But right now, Emoja clipped him. That's clearly a foul.
A lot of contact on that play. Tipped by Anderson. And then Hollingsworth going for the steal.
Had he not been clipped, that might have been a layup, or it might have been a 2-on-1 fast break. So, surprised the referees missed that one, but that was obviously a foul.
Rick Stansbury was hot a moment ago. He's calmed down since. Hollingsworth still on the floor. Now with Bassey out, he's now the leading active scorer on this team. And he's able to put pressure on both legs walking off, which is a good sign. He is walking off, though, of course. So pretty much the last thing that Western Kentucky needed here at the start of conference play. Charles Bassey already out for the season. Next leading scorer is Hollingsworth. He's being helped off the court right now. We hope that it's nothing too serious. And an answer there by Reese. And the lead is pushed back to 11.
Hollingsworth is a tough kid, and I'm pretty sure we'll see him back on the court, because I know he does not want his team to go out like this.
Jordan Rawls has replaced him. Here's Rawls near the top of the key. One-on-one with Simmons. It's deflected out of bounds off of Reese. Reese's three a moment ago was the fourth of the game for North Texas. Thomas Bell replaces Zachary Simmons. It's been a funny game for Zachary Simmons. As good as North Texas has played, arguably their two best scorers this season, Simmons and Gibson, haven't been much factors.
I think one reason why Zachary's not playing is because the Hilltoppers are so guard-oriented. We saw earlier Carson Williams took him off the bounce. And if Carson Williams can take you off the bounce, anybody else on that team can take you off the bounce. So I feel like he's not good enough laterally to be able to stay in front of these Hilltopper players. 5
quick points to begin the second half for James Reese. And North Texas has equaled its largest lead of the night. The Mean Green from Denton, Texas, looking for a third straight victory. Williams against two defenders, and it's picked off by Hamlet. One-on-one with the freshman Rawls, little Euro step, and draws the foul. Third foul on the freshman Jordan Rawls.
Good play. One-on-one, able to slow down his steps and draw the foul because Rawls reached in at the last minute.
So Javion Hamlet to the line, an excellent free throw shooter, 85% on the season. And He's now into double figures with 10 points, joining Gu, who has 16. Nobody on Western Kentucky has more than Hollingsworth's 7. And a 7-0 run for North Texas since Hollingsworth went out of the game. Very strong defensive effort tonight for North Texas. Shot clock down to 3, and that's been a consistent theme tonight, but a tough shot. A long 2 for Jared Savage.
He has the capability to be able to not just take tough shots, but make tough shots. In order for Western Kentucky to get back in this game, he's definitely going to have to be able to make those shots tonight.
Well, hey, we talked about next man up at the beginning of the broadcast. Now it's next man up again until Hollingsworth gets back. Bell hit a couple of threes in the first half. No good that time. Rawls has an opening against Gu, his 3rd foul. And he'll go to the line for 2.
One thing that North Texas does a good job of is keeping the ball on one side of the floor. They like to cut the floor in half and make you make plays on just one side instead of, when you see them playing defense on the wing, they're forcing you towards the baseline. Their bodies are turned towards the baseline because they want you to be able to only have one side of the court to play on. And that's really hard to do in college basketball because the floor is so condensed.
Rawls hits them both. Really the only true freshman in the playing rotation this season for Western Kentucky.
There's definitely a reason why.
There's a rare open look tonight for Gibson, a couple steps deep. Comes up short. Justice on the other end, and a big shot there. And it's back to an 8-point ball game, and just like that, Grant McCaslin off the bench for a North Texas timeout. 49-41, signs of life from the Hilltoppers. 49-41 North Texas, but Western Kentucky has scored the last 7 points, and this little surge started with a tough shot from Jared Savage.
Jared Savage, capability to make shots like this. Should have stepped back a little bit for the 3, but it still went in. On this end, Cameron Justice in transition hitting a big 3. They definitely need him to heat up and get hot so they can start this comeback.
This is a back and forth beginning of the game. 4 ties, 8 lead changes early. A lot of that was because Cameron Justice came out firing and got Western Kentucky off to a really good start. He cooled off. We'll see if that 3 spurs him on to another run.
With Bassey being out, and now with Hollingsworth being out temporarily, Cam Justice has to let it fly. Cam Justice and Savage, as you see Hollingsworth is back over there, I knew he wasn't going to let his team go out like that. He's a complete team player based off what Stansbury said, and he will not let his team down and wants to be out here and compete with his brothers.
He's back on the bench, not on the floor yet, but there is Tavion Hollingsworth. Pat O'Keefe and King McClure with you from Western Kentucky University. Opening night for these two teams in Conference USA play. So Hollingsworth sitting near the front of the bench, which would indicate that he is available and ready to get back out there after he was helped off the first minute of the second half, following a collision with Umoja Gibson. And we're told that the trainer says he's good to go, so like you said, King.
Yeah.
You get him back out there.
He's itching. He wants to be back out there because he feels like, and he knows that he can make an impact on this game.
Meanwhile, Thomas Bell picks up his 2nd foul. And the tide turning a little bit. Western Kentucky rallying with Hollingsworth on the bench. Some 3/4 court pressure. Hamlin and Reese at the top of the defense for the Mean Green. Anderson's been quiet. Justice, they would love to get him going. 2 in a row now.
Uh-oh. He's seen 2 go in the first half. As a shooter, that means he's letting it fly for the rest of the half because now his confidence is high, and shooting is all about confidence.
Students aren't on campus yet, but it's still loud here in Diddle Arena. 10 straight points for the Hilltoppers. Hamlet trying to create. A lot of action inside. Justice with the ball. Leaves it off for Williams. Splits two defenders. One more to come for Carson Williams. On the setup from the red-hot Cameron Justice. It was a 15-point lead a minute or so ago. Western Kentucky back to within 3. More college hoops Saturday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. We'll have the first ACC matchup of the calendar year for number 2 Duke and Miami. The Blue Devils 20-7 all-time against the Hurricanes, but the Canes have been a formidable foe the last 8 years, winning 5 of the last 10 matchups. That coming your way on Saturday night here at Western Kentucky. Largest run of the game for either team. The Hilltoppers have scored the last 12 points to get back into this game, doing it in transition a moment ago.
Big bucket in transition here by Carson Williams. Cam Justice, good decision. Little in and out, got him. And one. Good finish, big fella.
Now you know this, King McClure, from your many years playing at Baylor University in big game after big game. It is one thing for a team like North Texas to build a big second half lead, a 15-point lead. It is quite another to close out an experienced team with an experienced coach like Western Kentucky.
As one of my coaches at Baylor University said, Coach Jerome Tang, early leads mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing because this college game is 40 minutes. You have to play a complete 40 minutes in order to be able to win at this level. And this Hilltopper team is experienced, they're older, and North Texas definitely needs to, if they want to win this game, they have to be able to close out and make those plays and not let this experienced team come back.
Well, the Hilltoppers have scored the last 13 points. It is a 2-point game. Reese trying to quiet the crowd, cannot. Chance to tie or take the lead. Rawls from the wing. Western Kentucky's on top.
Man, that's a big shot. As a freshman, to be able to take the shot so you can take the lead, that's a huge confidence shot. And Coach Stansbury talked about it earlier. He has the ultimate confidence in this kid to be able to come out here and produce.
16 straight points for the Hilltoppers. Hamlet's so good in that first half. Quiet so far in the second. Same for Bell. They go inside to Simmons. It's knocked away for a moment, but a foul against Anderson.
If I'm North Texas and I'm Coach Mack, I'm going inside to Simmons right now. Simmons has to be the guy to initiate the offense because he has the size advantage and he can score over the smaller Carson Williams. But not only just that, if they double, he can kick out and find people. So they must run through big fella right now because he's the only person right now I think that can really calm this run down.
It's funny, he's probably the one guy who Rick Stansbury was most concerned with coming into tonight. He's had a quiet night, so is Draper until now. UNT back on top. And that's a crowd quieter right there.
Hit a few of those in my lifetime.
Feels good, right?
Feels great.
Williams splits 2 defenders, and we're tied again.
He's so crafty. He doesn't play above the rim, but he's very efficient with his moves, uses the shot fake, and is able to get his defenders off rhythm and not be able to time his shots.
Good quick pass back for Reese, wide open, and he can't connect. Justice got this run started with a couple of threes, takes it right at Simmons, and one more coming. Fourth foul on Zachary Simmons.
Got him. Good move. Way to draw the contact and still finish. Good and one by Cam Justice.
One of the big questions coming in, who would step up for Western Kentucky tonight? It has been, so far, Cameron Justice.
Cameron Justice, you saw it at the beginning of the game. He hit the first 3, got the and one early. Like I said, confidence. When you can exude confidence, your play shows it. Because once you see the ball go in a few times, especially for a shooter like him, you know, I know because I was a shooter. If I saw the ball go in, it's going to be a long night. I'm shooting from then on. But he's letting it fly, and he's playing really well right now.
Justice was 5 for 22 from the field his last 2 games. He's 5 for 8 tonight. Hopefully for him breaking out of that shooting slump. Gibson turns the corner and travels.
I think one adjustment that Stansbury made is when the guard, you see how Savage, he hesitated. So Mo Gibson didn't know whether to shoot the layup or to hit the easy drop-off that he hit in the first half with Bangu. I think they told their bigs to pause and not commit so early.
9th turnover for North Texas. Shot for Savage.
We talked about it earlier, his ability to make tough shots, and that right there, folks, is a tough shot.
As tough a shot as we've seen tonight. Draper, can he quiet the crowd a second time? No. Gu on the offensive boards. Look at a hustle by Anderson. Draper's going to get another open look from the other wing, and he rarely misses 2 in a row that wide open.
That's a huge shot. They needed that.
Back to a 3-point game. Feels like we're just getting started here in the second half. We got a long way to go.
Interestingly, they're doing this without Hollingsworth.
Tough shot for Rawls, and everyone is hitting from downtown.
It's crazy how in college basketball, one person can catch fire, and all of a sudden your whole team catches fire. That's what I love about the game of basketball.
There's a lot to love. It started with a tough shot from the corner from Savage. Then Justice got hot. Now it's Rawls. Tough shot inside on the other end for Hamlet. And we've got a whistle.
Tough shot.
Against the Western Kentucky bench.
The defense had no chance on the shot.
A 4-point lead for Western Kentucky. They trailed by 15 points earlier in the second half. King, let's take a look at how they got it done.
The upperclassmen, the leaders of this team, stepped up, made a big play. There's a big and one by Carson Williams. Cam Justice comes down and hits a big 3 in transition. Then Carson Williams shows a little bit of the perimeter game. Spin move, pump fake, split the defenders, nice bucket. The upperclassmen, the leaders, have definitely stepped up and enabled them to get back in this game and even take the lead.
It seemed like Cameron Justice got hot, and then everyone else just fed off of that.
It's crazy how basketball works. You gotta love it.
3 for 5 from downtown. He was 1 for 12 in his previous 2 games. The whistle we mentioned before we went to break. Take a look at Rick Stansbury here. It was a coach's box warning, several steps out there on the court. Just a warning against the Western Kentucky bench, but he's into it. He probably didn't even know where he was.
He's fired up.
The Hilltoppers with the ball out of that break. Tavion Hollingsworth has not come back into the game since the collision with Gibson. Anderson trying to create and stays with it.
And they're playing so well without him. As a coach, it's, do I ruin the momentum by bringing them back in the game? I mean, eventually, late in the game, they'll probably need them. But you don't want to kill the momentum because your guys are playing so well right now.
Rawls has given them a big lift since he came in for him. That happened in the first minute of the second half. Bell, who hit 2 of these in the first half, comes up short.
He's definitely cooled off in the second half.
Justice is looking to fire away. Little heat check there.
We definitely call those heat checks.
3 for 6 from downtown now. The 6-point lead for the Hilltoppers, tying their largest of the game. Savage knocks it away out of bounds off of Western Kentucky, but the officials are going to discuss this. Our outside official may have had a different view. And they do overturn the call.
Oh. That was out by Savage. They missed that one.
They did. Looked like Savage slapped that one out with his right hand. But it's Western ball. Anderson camping out in the corner. Why not? A 24-point turnaround in the second half. Gu inside, finally misses a shot on the reverse. Western with all the momentum. Savage joining the party from up top. Timeout, North Texas. A 12-point lead, all Western Kentucky in the second half. Big night for Jared Savage. 13 points now.
Can't leave them wide open. Transition defense. You have to locate, especially right now. That everybody's hitting. You can't leave anybody open. So that was bad on North Texas' part as far as getting back in transition. They have to locate everybody because anybody can make a shot right now.
The 10th three-pointer for Western Kentucky. 4th time they've done that this season.
One thing I think North Texas got away from is getting the ball to the paint. In the first half, we saw a lot of times they were able to get the ball to the paint, whether it be a post up or the guards getting in and dishing off. I feel like they've settled and started shooting a lot of threes this half and not really, got a lot of paint touches.
North Texas led 49-34. It was their largest lead of the game earlier in this half. Since then, Western Kentucky has outscored them 35-8 until now, as they go back to what worked so well in the first half.
That's where they have the advantage at. They have the advantage inside because they do not have the size. When you start shooting threes, then you start playing the game in Western Kentucky, and that plays in their favor. So they must go inside in order to get back in this game, just like how they got the lead.
Justice looking for an opening. Anderson hit one a moment ago, tries a second.
You see one go in, you start shooting.
Gibson frees up some space, and it's out of bounds off of the big man for the Mean Green.
Those are the plays that in the first half they were executing on. And I feel like now they need to get more of that. They need to get into the paint and be able to make decisions, because the guards made the right decision in the first half. They have to continue to make those right decisions in the second half.
Rawls goes up against Gibson and draws the foul. First against Umoja Gibson.
Umoja Gibson is first, team 6. Rawls at the line shooting 2.
So Jordan Rawls to the line. Only 5 free throw attempts coming into this game on the season. SportsCenter Thursday night after the Gator Bowl with John Anderson and Kenny Mayne. They'll preview the AFC wildcard game between the Titans and the Patriots, plus an exclusive interview with Texans defensive end J.J. Watt, who's playing Saturday after surgery 2 months ago for a torn pec. We'll see what kind of impact he has on that game. Bills Texans, 4:35 Eastern on ESPN and ABC Saturday. Also, Russell Wilson talks about the NFC wildcard games against the Eagles. SportsCenter after Indiana, Tennessee on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I'm really, really disappointed that the Eagles eliminated the Cowboys from playoff contention. I'm still a little disappointed about that.
The Dallas native that you are. It was a rough season in Big D. Anderson!
Oh, my! Oh, my goodness.
Maybe another entry to SportsCenter's top 10.
Yeah, I would think so. Oh, man.
He's taken up residence there during his career here at Western Kentucky. And a clock issue stems the tide momentarily. Josh Anderson, we talked about it before. He's known for plays like this one.
Oh, on top of his head. He got a runway on his head. Oh.
You know, it's funny because Cameron Justice has caught fire, Jared Savage has caught fire, but nothing fires up the crowd like what Josh Anderson just did. Western Kentucky up by 12. Western Kentucky a 12-point lead, all Hilltoppers in the second half as they have outscored North Texas 41-19 since the break, doing it in a variety of ways.
Just big shot after big shot after big shot. One of those things when one person sees the ball goes in, everybody sees the ball goes in. Even people that really don't even shoot the three like that are starting to hit. That's what happens when the momentum gets on your side.
And it all happened after Tavion Hollingsworth went out of the game after a collision with Umoja Gibson. Hollingsworth is back on the bench. They haven't needed him because of the play of that man, Jordan Rawls.
One thing that stood out to me when talking to Rick Stansbury earlier, he said that he has the ultimate confidence in this freshman kid. You do not hear that come out of a coach's mouth that often, especially this early, right before conference hasn't even started. And he has the ultimate confidence in this freshman kid, and I see why. He has the ability to make plays and lead team to comebacks like he's doing right, like he did today.
6'1" freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee. 14 points tonight for Jordan Rawls, and that one's kicked. Kicked with 4 seconds on the shot clock, so they will reset it to 20. North Texas catching a break there. Who is so sharp in the first half. Bell passes on the open look, takes it to the basket, and gets the Mean Green back within 10. Anderson, who electrified this place a minute ago, draws the foul inside against Dang Gu. His fourth. So 4 fouls now on Gu. Already 4 fouls against the other big man, Zachary Simmons.
This is a good play. Good call by the ref. Dang Gu was still moving. Wasn't established yet. Clearly a foul.
And Simmons gets up off the bench for North Texas. He'll check in with 7.5 to go in the second half. Grant McCasley just looking for any kind of spark off of that Mean Green bench.
Yeah, Mo Gibson has been very quiet tonight, and the same with Zachary Simmons. You know, your top 2 players, well, including Javion, but the other top 2 players haven't really done much in the game. It kind of hurts you, and especially in an environment like this, because this is a very good Western Kentucky team we're seeing.
It was Dang Gu in the first half. He had 16 points, only 2 since the break. Anderson pushes the lead back up to a dozen, but a foul on the other end against Cameron Justice, his second.
They need to get the ball into Simmons right now. Simmons clearly has a mismatch.
Carson Williams guarding him. Hamlet, and they needed that one from the wing.
They need that.
How many times have we said that tonight? They need that. This has been a game of runs. Crazy runs in this game.
Back and forth. But you got to love it. That's how basketball is, and we're seeing it as finals right now.
Opening night in the Conference USA. You hope the whole season is as wild and crazy as this is. Williams takes it right at Simmons, who hobbles back down the court.
Carson Williams is deceivably shifty. He doesn't really seem like it, but he'll hit you with something really quick, and before you know it, he's at the rim.
And Zachary Simmons goes to the bench. After that defensive possession, Simmons was hobbling back down the court, so they blew the whistle to get him out of the game. He goes back to the locker room. Dang Gu is back on the floor with 4 fouls. Bell, no one home. Thought Gu was going to pop outside.
Thomas Bell was open. he needs to let that go. Like we talked about, 5 for 7 in the last 2 games, and then started off the game 2 for 2. But then he missed his next 2, so now he's a little hesitant. So when you see him have it on the perimeter, on his layup earlier, he passed up the open 3 and decided to get closer. Like I said earlier, shooting is a thing of confidence. And right now, Thomas Bell has lost his confidence. You can see it in his game.
Although, King, I will say, judging by the long animated conversation Grant McCaslin is having with Deng Gu, I'm going to guess that Gu is supposed to bounce outside to receive that pass there.
Yeah.
Savage has hit a few big shots here in the second half. Rawls open for a moment, fires away.
What a game.
11-3 of the night for the Hilltoppers, and a career-high 17 points for the freshman. Jordan Rawls leading the way in the second half, Western Kentucky. They won a bowl game this week. Now they're leading by a couple of touchdowns.
It's a big shot. He's definitely having a breakout game, I think. The conference needs to be aware of this kid, Jordan Rawls. This freshman will be here for a few years and definitely will be a great player for this Western Kentucky team.
So calm, too, after knocking that down. A 14-point lead for Western Kentucky after trailing by 15 points earlier in this half. Well, for a while tonight, it looked like North Texas might be able to solve the riddle of diddle. That's what they call it. They've lost here 10 straight times, but it's not looking good right now.
You mentioned it. You said they have to be able to not just get the early lead, but be able to finish the game off. And we knew that this team, this Hilltopper team, they're very experienced. They're older. They're mature. They've been here before. They've been down. So you knew that it wasn't over. You knew they would eventually come back and creep up, and you saw it tonight.
And since Jordan Rawls replaced Tavion Hollingsworth after the collision, Rick Stansbury hasn't gone back to his bench this entire half. It's been these 5 guys virtually the entire second half.
Hey, when you guys are playing good, you got to let them rock. And that's what he does. That credit to him for being a good coach and realizing that his guys are on a roll. You don't need to sub. Sometimes coaches get so worried about minutes and their rotation that they forget to let the game play itself out. But credit to Rick Stansbury. That's a good adjustment as him being a coach.
Well, the other part of that is there's not a ton of options on that bench. They were already pretty thin rotation. Then you lose Bass, you lose Hollingsworth. There's not that many more numbers to call over there. Gibson, nice step through there to stem the tide momentarily.
Gibson.
Now it's Western Kentucky that has to think about closing out this game. 5 minutes to go. They're sitting on a 12-point lead. Now 14. Nice feed from Williams to Anderson. Hamlet and a little extra inside. He'll go to the line, trying to finish off the 3-point play after the foul, the 3rd foul against Carson Williams.
He's played really well tonight. I like this kid a lot. I like what I see out of him. Just his pace of play. He's never sped up, and he's able to do what he wants to do. And he's definitely been the only scoring option that North Texas has had consistently, first and second half.
And 18 now at 19-point night for Javion Hamlet, tying his career high with those 19 points to go along with 7 assists. .82 points for Western Kentucky. That's tied for the most that North Texas has allowed in a game this season. Williams splits the defenders and draws the foul. Looks like Jemiah Simmons is going to get hit with this one.
Like I said, he's deceivably shifty. Good spin move. Sees he has 2 defenders and splits them, and does a little bit of acting, but he sold it at the free throw line. Good play by Carson Williams.
About a month ago, on December 5th, North Texas lost a heartbreaker to Oklahoma, 82-80. Would have been a huge win for the program. And until now, that was the most points they allowed in the game this season, but Western Kentucky has surpassed that total. Reese from the wing. And we're back to a 9-point game. North Texas has to start thinking about getting some stops. Instead, Reese picks up his second personal foul.
It's not a smart foul. You're about a half-court line, and now you're putting a hot team on the free throw line. You're just putting yourself in a bigger hole, and that's just not a smart play.
And a great free throw shooter in Jared Savage, who's 91%. Back to an 11-point lead. Final 4 minutes to see if the Mean Green have one more run in them. Hamlet looking for some space. Gibson fires away from the top. Big one for Umoja Gibson.
They definitely need that. In order for them to get back in this game in the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they definitely need Mo Gibson to be the Mo Gibson he's been all year.
First three-pointer of the game right there. Same 5 Hilltoppers on the floor since the first minute of the second half. Catch, shoot for Justice. And that's an answer.
That rim is as wide as the ocean right now for Cam Justice.
Back to an 11-point lead. We'll see if the Hilltoppers can close it out when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Caesar Canine Cuisine. Caesar, love them back. And USAA, proud supporter of the military community. What you're made of, we're made for. Western Kentucky trying to close out a conference opening win here on their home floor, 88-77 over North Texas. Came 56 points in the second half for the Hilltoppers, 9 for 11 from downtown.
Yeah, very, very, very. This is not what we see from the North Texas defense. They have had a really good defense up until this point, and this is very uncharacteristic of this North Texas defense. But credit to the Hilltoppers for coming out, taking big shots, making big shots, and having players step up in huge moments.
North Texas has been scoring the last few possessions. They can't seem to stop the Hilltoppers on the other end of the court, though.
They got to play both sides. Can't just be one-sided.
Gibson just hit his first 3 of the game. Here's Reese open from the corner. And it's back to an 8-point game.
That's big.
So Reese trying to keep them in it with the long ball down the stretch. Justice had the answer to a 3 a moment ago. Down to 2.5 to play. Anderson along the baseline poked away, but he'll go to the free throw line.
This kid is so athletic.
Second foul on Umoja Gibson. Anderson back to the foul line for some big free throws. As you might expect, all 5 of these players who have played virtually the entire second half in double figures.
That's no surprise.
That's what happens when you score 58 points and you only play 5 guys. Anderson with a season-high 17 after those 2 free throws. Nearly a steal for Justice. Bell near the top. Off the side of the rim, he'll stay with the Mean Green. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Tough finish inside for Jemiah Simmons. Now, due to the length of this game, college basketball between Jacksonville State and Morehead State will begin on ESPN News. And coming up next right here, after the conclusion of our game. Anderson slapping the hand away of Bell. Savage, in many ways, got it all started with a big shot in the second half. Not that time, though. And a foul on the rebound attempt against Anderson.
That was a good defensive possession by North Texas. But one thing that North Texas cannot do right now is they cannot foul, because if they foul, they sit up to the free throw line, and that puts themselves in a deeper hole. So they have to play aggressively, but without fouling. And that's something they've struggled with this whole year.
On the other side, that was just the 15th foul against the Hilltoppers. So no free throws yet for North Texas. 8-point ball game. Crowd getting loud in here, showing its appreciation for these 5. Hamlet traveled.
Yeah, he tried.
Big turnover. 13th of the game for North Texas. A costly one there. The youngster Jalen Jackson replaces Javion Hamlet. Let's see if McCaslin has his players foul right away here. Western Kentucky's been good from the line tonight. Nearly a turnover. Anderson able to save it. Savage in the front court. Up and under, no good.
Oh.
And North Texas, a opportunity slipped through their fingers. Now the initial call is out of bounds off of the mean green, but the officials are going to take a look and review this. Rick Stansberry, meanwhile, halfway out on the court talking to his freshman Jordan Rawls.
Kind of got a little sped up in the trap, not realizing you have 5 seconds in the trap. You know, sometimes, even it happened to me as a player. Sometimes I get trapped and I try to throw the ball away, you know, off rip. Back up, take your time, and see what opens up, see what creates, because the defense is going to shift. So see what openings you can find.
So what are we looking at here?
Who's the ball out on? Looks like it's out on.
It looked like it was out right there before Simmons tried to save it. Let's take a look here.
Did Simmons touch it last, or did Williams?
Well, again, the initial call was out of bounds off of North Texas. And it's out of bounds right there. So it's whoever made last contact on that play we just saw, and it's tough to tell. And if it's tough to tell, that's where the original call is so important. What a night here at Diddle.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised of the crowd and how loud they've been and how into the game they've been, because based on my experience, Christmas break games are never, you know, really too packed. Normally it's, you know, a few fans, but it's never really full. And the crowd tonight has been loud, and it's been a great atmosphere. And they're part of the reason why I think Western Kentucky went on the run that they did.
And it's going to stay with Western Kentucky. So the original call stands with 1:25 on the clock. Again, we got Jacksonville State and Morehead State coming up next. You can watch the beginning of that game over on ESPN News. And as soon as we're done, you can watch that game right here. Inbound pass to Justice, out to Williams. Rawls from the corner. Quick shot. And still some life for the Mean Green. They need a quick score here. Hamlet tries to get a step on Williams. Tough shot inside, rebounded by Justice. Final minute here on opening night in Conference USA as Reese fouls Rawls. Third foul against James Reese. And the funny thing is, you look back on this comeback, King, for Western Kentucky. Hollingsworth goes out of the game, and then North Texas scores the next 7 points to take their biggest lead of the game at 15. And after that, everything just completely changed. It started with that tough long two in the corner for Jared Savage, and then everybody just started hitting in the second half for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I think North Texas got away from what they did at first, from what got them the lead, which was getting paint touches and kicking and finding players and finding the open man, making the right decisions. And I feel like they got away from that in the second half. And the Hilltoppers, they made tough shots. Savage made the first one, and then Williams started heating up, and then Justice really started heating up, and then Rawls just played above his age. But the Hilltoppers, the backs were against the wall, and they weren't afraid to step up and get back in this game.
Anderson putting maybe a punctuation mark on this night for Western Kentucky with a monster block inside.
Maybe should have been a charge. Thought he had a free lane. Ooh. Clean block. Got it before it touched the backboard. Good heads-up play by Anderson.
Clean as a whistle.
He's had a great game tonight.
Hamlet thought he was off to the races down the lane, and Anderson has made a couple of eye-popping plays, and that's what he does, because you just ran through 4 of the 5 guys for Western Kentucky who had big second halves. Yeah. Anderson maybe had the 2 biggest plays, or the 2 most highlight-worthy plays. The dunk, of course, and then that block right there.
This is one of the cases where 5 guys get rolling, and it was just a bad night for UNT.
Bad second half anyway, after they shot 61% in the first. Lead back up to 11. Nothing easy in this second half for UNT. Gibson will go to the line after being fouled by Rawls. Number 4 on the freshman. In Jacksonville State, Morehead State coming up next on ESPN News Now. And coming up next right here. Western Kentucky really came into conference play as down as you possibly could. A 2-game losing streak, not having won a game since their best player, Charles Bassey, went down with the broken leg. A bad first half here for them as Draper gives another foul. Rawls will go back to the line.
Coach Stansbury talked about it. He said somebody has to step up. But tonight, we see 5 people stepped up. If you look at the box score and look at the points, the point spread, it's all even, because they all contributed and did what they needed to do in order to win.
So the riddle of diddle will go unsolved for another year here in Bowling Green, Kentucky for this North Texas program. Charles Bassey all smiles, seeing what his teammates have done here in the second half. Reese, that comes up short. Justice out ahead. Anderson wanted a lob. Justice pulling it back out in a very satisfying win for Western Kentucky to open up conference play. 93-84 the final.
Hey, credit to Western Kentucky. They're older. They did not let their backs being against the wall stop them from coming out here and doing what they do. They were down early in the first half. They made big shot after big shot after big shot. Got back in this game, took the lead. Not only did they get back, they spread it out. So credit to Western Kentucky. They did what an older, experienced team is supposed to do.
Huge second half for them. So for King McClure and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Pat O'Keefe. Coming up next, more college basketball as Jacksonville State takes on Morehead State. Thanks for joining us, and so long from Bowling Green.